1. Stop scrolling. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you just to deliver this message. This is not a coincidence. This is divine interruption. God is leaning into your life right now, and you must listen with your spirit wide open, because what's coming is not small, not average, not random. You were never meant to settle. You've been walking through life with a quiet ache, haven't you? Loving deeply, giving endlessly, carrying others even when your own knees were trembling. You stayed when others left. You helped while you bled. You poured out when no one was pouring back in. But God saw it all. And now, the heavens are shifting. God is sending someone tailor-made, wealthy, healed, anointed into your life to cover you, provide for you, and relocate you into your next dimension. You are not too much. You were just too much for the wrong ones. There were seasons when you questioned your worth because of how people mishandled your love. You assumed you had to shrink yourself to be kept. But God never called you to shrink. He called you to shine. And now, He's sending someone who will not just match your light, they will protect it, multiply it, and build with it. Listen, this person is not coming to complete you. They are coming to cover you. They are not coming to fix you. They are coming because you were already whole. And heaven gave them instructions to find someone like you. They've been praying for someone whose scars match their healing hands. And your name was whispered in their spirit before you even met. You are the answer to someone's obedience. You are the reward of someone's sacrifice. You were never meant to settle for survival when God destined you for overflow. That longing in your soul for something more, that ache in your chest that nothing on earth could fully satisfy, that was God's way of reminding you, this life has divine upgrades waiting. The soulmate God is sending isn't just a relationship, it's a relocation. You're about to be shifted spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Everything around you is about to change. But don't mistake delay for denial. God has been protecting this blessing, shielding it, sanctifying it. If He had released it prematurely, you would have rejected it, misused it, or missed it entirely. But now you are ready. Your discernment is sharper. Your roots are deeper. Your prayers are stronger. You're not thirsty for attention. You're prepared for alignment. It is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 4, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Chosen one, you are about to soar, not crawl, not drag yourself through another heartbreak. Soar. You are coming into a season where your strength is being renewed, and part of that renewal comes through divine partnership. Someone is being sent to speak life into the places you buried, to help carry what you were never meant to carry alone. You've spent years being the provider, the fixer, the intercessor. Now watch what happens when God sends someone to intercede for you. You've held down the house in storms now. He's sending someone to build you a fortress. You've prayed over others' businesses and dreams. Now someone is coming to fund yours. Not because you begged for it, but because heaven has assigned it. This person will not compete with you. They will complement you. They will not drain you. They will defend you. This is not lust. This is not fantasy. This is not desperation. This is divine fulfillment. You've cried for this, fasted for this, released people for this, and now it's knocking. But make no mistake, this connection will require discernment. Not every admirer is a divine assignment. You must have eyes to see beyond the surface. They may not arrive in the packaging you expected. They might not sound like your type, but they will speak to your soul. They will activate your purpose. They will confirm what God has already whispered in your spirit. Peace will be your sign. So don't scroll past this moment like it's another trend. This is your confirmation. God is about to shift the landscape of your life. He is sending someone who won't just want you, they'll cover you. They won't just visit your pain, they'll help you build from it. Get ready. Comment 111 if your spirit says, yes. Lord, I receive. Like, share, and subscribe if you know this word was carved just for you. Heaven saw your silent sacrifices. Not one tear slipped through the night without divine notice. Not a single prayer, whispered through trembling lips, fell to the ground unnoticed. You thought God had forgotten you, didn't you? When the years passed and the promises remained unfulfilled, when others were getting engaged, married, celebrated, while you sat quietly in your own corner of surrender, you began to wonder if maybe you were asking for too much. Maybe you were too late. Maybe your season had passed. But hear this now, God is never late. He is building the stage for something sacred. You didn't know it. But every lonely moment was preparation. Every heartbreak you survived was a classroom. Every friendship that fell apart, every relationship that drained you, was part of heaven's screening process. God wasn't just protecting your heart, He was protecting your destiny. Some people couldn't be allowed near what you carry. Some couldn't be trusted with the oil on your life. And that's why the silence was necessary. God had to train you in private before announcing you in public. Your ability to love despite betrayal, your ability to remain kind after cruelty, your ability to pray when bitterness tempted your soul, that's what qualified you. You never stopped believing, even when belief cost you your comfort. You never stopped hoping, even when hope seemed foolish. And though the enemy mocked your weight, mocked your standards, mocked your tears, God was writing the story behind the scenes. There's a divine principle in the kingdom. Those who sow in tears shall reap with joy. And you, chosen one, have sowed enough tears to water generations. You didn't just weep, you worshipped. You didn't just wait, you worked on yourself. You didn't just act, you aligned. And now, the harvest is near. There is a soulmate crafted in the fire of their own becoming, who has been shaped by similar sorrow, refined by familiar pain. You are not the only one who has walked the valley alone. They, too, have waited. They, too, have wondered. They, too, have been tested. And now, just like you, they are ready. Heaven is not sending a fixer-upper. Heaven is sending a finished work. They will see you clearly, not through the lens of lust or fantasy, but through the eyes of destiny, where others saw too intense. They'll see depth, where others saw too emotional. They'll see passion, where others saw too much. They'll see just right, because they weren't just made to love you, they were made to understand you. And oh, the power of being understood. You've spent years explaining your soul in fragments to those who only wanted a piece of you. But this person will know how to gather your pieces, not scatter them. They will hold your heart with reverence, not recklessness. They will understand your calling, not compete with it. Because when God sends a soulmate, He doesn't just send comfort, He sends confirmation. This is not just about romance. It's about divine reversal. You cried yourself to sleep. Now you'll wake up in peace. You gave without receiving. Now someone will give without taking. You stayed when it hurt. Now someone will stay because it's holy. This is the kind of shift that only heaven can orchestrate. And just like the enemy tried to convince you that no one would ever choose you, now God is about to showcase you, not for vanity, but for victory. Because when this connection happens, it won't just bless you, it will bless generations. It will model to others what kingdom love looks like. It will show that waiting on God never wastes time. Some thought you were foolish to wait for someone who could cover you. Others mocked your standards. But your standards weren't pride, they were prophecy. Deep down, you knew. You weren't called to average. You were called to alignment. Scripture says in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 18, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. The glory is coming. The wait wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The silence wasn't rejection, it was redirection. The ache wasn't a void, it was a womb, birthing something eternal. Heaven was not withholding, it was weaving a masterpiece, slow and sacred, beyond what you imagined. Now, the unveiling begins. And now, your time has come, not because you forced it, but because God has declared it. They've been searching for you too, chosen one. The enemy wanted you to believe you were forgotten, that no one saw you, that no one was praying for you, that no one could possibly value the depths of your soul. But the truth is, while you were healing, someone was already asking God for you. They didn't know your name yet. They didn't know your face. But in the secret place of their prayers, they described you in detail. And heaven heard them. You are not the only one who has been waiting. You are not the only one who's been lonely, tired of shallow connections and counterfeit closeness. You are not the only one with standards that caused you to walk away when others settled. And you are definitely not the only one who cried out to God saying, send someone who sees me, really sees me. Chosen one. They prayed that same prayer. This connection was never meant to be casual. It's been divinely coordinated, a mutual searching, a divine magnetism pulling two prepared hearts toward the same intersection of time. That ache in your spirit, that stirring you feel when you hear messages like this, that is not coincidence, it is confirmation. Because your spirit recognizes that someone is being aligned with you even now. Their journey hasn't been easy either. They've walked away from the crowd. They've endured betrayals. They've fasted for clarity. They've grown tired of pretending to be okay when they weren't. But instead of compromising, they consecrated. Instead of running toward the noise, they ran into the secret place. And in that place, they asked for someone who wouldn't shrink back from the weight of purpose, someone who carried both oil and scars, someone like you. They've been asking God, where are they? And right now, so have you. This is the moment where heaven whispers, closer than you think. The enemy wanted to delay you through distractions, fake connections that drained your energy and distorted your view of love. But God used every failed connection to sharpen your discernment. He allowed rejection to protect your direction. He rerouted your heart, not to punish you, but to preserve you, so that when you finally meet, truly meet, you'll recognize each other, not by physical attraction alone, but by spiritual familiarity. Because when God joins two prepared souls, there is recognition before romance, purpose before pleasure, destiny before dating. You'll know them not by how loud they enter your life, but by how still your soul becomes around them. The peace will speak louder than the passion, and for the first time in a long time, you won't feel like you have to fight to be seen. You won't feel like a burden. You'll feel understood, not tolerated, chosen. This is not fantasy. This is divine reality. And when your eyes finally meet theirs, whether across a room, through a conversation, or in a moment you least expect, it won't feel like meeting a stranger. It will feel like remembering someone heaven whispered about long ago. You see, the world told you to just put yourself out there, as if love is some market of options. But you knew better. You knew that what God had for you would not require begging, performing, or pretending. You knew your spirit was worth more than swiping. You knew your heart was sacred soil, and only a divinely prepared soul could truly plant there. And so you waited, even when it hurt, even when loneliness tempted you to settle, even when others called you too picky, even when you cried into your pillow, asking God if maybe He forgot. But He didn't forget. He was forming someone who could love you deeply, purely, and purposefully, someone whose soul recognizes your light and doesn't run from it but honors it. It is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 14, "Houses and wealth are inherited from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord." And that kind of connection, it's not manufactured, it's sent. So get ready, because while you were breaking, they were becoming. While you were surrendering, they were seeking. While you were healing, they were humbling themselves before God. And now, paths are converging. Appointed times are arriving. And when it happens, it will be so clear that only heaven could have written it. Comment, "I'm ready." Oh, not just as a phrase, but as a prophetic agreement. Because readiness is not about perfection. It's about posture. A posture of surrender. A posture of discernment. A posture that says, "Lord, I've done the inner work. Now I receive what you've prepared for me." Now, let the angels take that agreement before the throne. Let heaven move accordingly, because your heart is no longer wandering, it's waiting in faith. Your provision is people assigned, chosen one. You must understand this. God often delivers His blessings through people. That's why the enemy worked overtime to surround you with betrayal, abandonment, and counterfeit relationships. If he could damage your trust, he could delay your destiny. But heaven has had the final word. There is a person assigned and anointed who carries within them the keys to your next chapter. This is not dependency. This is divine orchestration. God could rain manna from heaven again. Yes, but most often, He moves through alignment. When Elijah was weary and on the brink of giving up, God didn't give him a new tree to sleep under. He sent an angel with food. When Ruth left everything familiar behind, her destiny didn't appear in the form of a miracle. It came in the form of Boaz. When Paul needed help launching his ministry, God didn't hand him success from the sky. He sent Barnabas. Always remember, God will send people before He sends provision. And the person God is sending into your life now is carrying much more than just affection. They are carrying assignment. They are not coming to fill a void. They are coming to fulfill a vision. A vision heaven has entrusted to you. but one that cannot reach its full capacity alone. You weren't meant to build everything by yourself. Yes, God gave you vision, wisdom, resilience. Yes, you've survived, pushed forward, and stood tall. But He never asked you to walk this journey isolated. The fact that you've carried so much by yourself doesn't mean you were meant to. It means no one around you had the strength, calling, or permission to carry it with you yet. But that changes now, because heaven is assigning someone who has both the strength and the spiritual sensitivity to walk with you. They won't be intimidated by your anointing. They won't compete with your light. They will understand the cost of your calling and still choose to stay. They will see what others missed. They will guard what others took for granted. This is not about being rescued, it's about being reinforced. You're not weak for desiring covering. It's not a lack of faith to long for someone who sees your burdens and says, "Let me help you carry that." God Himself said it wasn't good for man to be alone, not because He made Adam flawed, but because He made Adam with purpose that required partnership. You are stepping into a chapter where your next level is locked inside a connection. This isn't about relationship status, it's about spiritual structure. There are some doors you won't walk through alone. Not because you can't, but because heaven won't allow it. The weight of what you're carrying next requires covenant, and covenant can't be rushed. It's revealed. You may not know the exact day, the exact way, the exact face, but trust this: the moment you encounter them, something in your spirit will recognize it, not because they're perfect, but because they're appointed. You'll begin to see how their presence aligns with your purpose, how their insight sharpens yours, how their faith fans your flame. They will not just speak your language, they will understand your silence. And in that silence, where you once questioned, "Will anyone ever get me?" you will hear the quiet answer of God through their consistency. "Yes, I prepared them just for you." Oh, it is written in the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 38, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap." Oh, what you've poured out in past seasons: love, prayer, support, sacrifice is now returning to you, not just in random ways, but pressed down, shaken together, and running over through a person who has been prepared to carry what you carry and bless what you build. And when they arrive, they won't be shocked by your fire. They'll be drawn to it. They'll see you in your fullness and choose you, not in spite of your purpose, but because of it. Because this is what happens when God assigns people to your life. They don't come to consume your light. They come to protect it. They don't come to dim your voice. They come to amplify it. They don't come to compete. They come to cover. Your provision is coming, but don't just look for it in the form of money, breakthrough, or open doors. Look for it in divine people, sent by God, carrying solutions your spirit has prayed for. And when they show up, you'll realize you've been assigned to each other all along. Relocation is part of the package. Chosen one. What God is doing in your life is too big to remain where you are. The environment that once served you is no longer sufficient for where you're going. The atmosphere that once felt familiar has now become frustrating. The people who once poured into you have now been quieted, and your spirit senses it even before your mind can explain it. There's a divine relocation taking place, and it's not just emotional, it's geographical. You've outgrown the space that once felt safe. This is what happens when heaven prepares to elevate you. God begins to stir your nest. Er disrupt Kampfer. He allows discomfort to rise, not to punish you, but to provoke you. You start to feel spiritually claustrophobic, and nothing around you seems to fit anymore. It's not a sign of failure. It's confirmation that your current place can no longer contain your future purpose. And here's where your soulmate comes in. This person is not just coming to offer companionship. They are carrying the next location of your life. Their presence will provoke movement. Their obedience will open doors in places you never considered. Some of you are about to move cities, states, even countries, not because you're chasing a person, but because God is aligning you with destiny. This person carries the key to a territory where your assignment will flourish. You've been asking God to expand your life. He's answering through relocation. Some places were only meant to be your training ground, not your permanent address. Where you were hurt is not where you will be healed. Where you survived is not where you will thrive. The very ground you're standing on now might be sacred for the old version of you, but it's starting to reject who you're becoming. And God is calling you out just like He called Abraham. Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. It is written in the book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 1. You may not have all the details. You may not know exactly where, when, or how, but obedience doesn't require details. It requires trust. And this new relationship will be confirmation, not confusion. God is not sending someone to distract you. He is sending someone who will help transport you, not just emotionally, literally. Your relocation is not just physical, it's prophetic. Moving won't just be about changing zip codes, it will be about changing atmospheres. You'll find your creativity again. You'll breathe deeper. You'll hear God clearer. Your gifts will activate at a higher level. There are some anointings in you that have been buried under familiar pressure, and it will take a new environment to unearth them. You will not recognize yourself in the next season. What once felt intimidating will now feel natural. What used to exhaust you will now energize you. You'll walk into rooms you never dreamed of, speak in places you never imagined, and live in spaces you once thought belonged to others. Why? Because you're not just relocating, you're being reintroduced. The person God is sending won't just cover you emotionally. They will help carry you into spaces divinely prepared for you both. They'll bring structure where there's been instability. They'll offer solutions to problems you thought you had to solve alone. Their presence will move you toward purpose without pressure, without force, just steady, spirit-led alignment. And the best part? You won't have to force the timing. When God says it's time to move, the grace to move will be undeniable. Doors will open without striving. Confirmations will come through peace, provision, and alignment. What once felt like a heavy lift will become light, because where there is divine assignment, there is supernatural ease. You've waited, grown, matured, and now it's time. You are not being uprooted, you are being transplanted. There's fertile ground prepared for you. There's a region that's been waiting for your voice, your ideas, your spirit. And the person God is sending will not keep you stuck in the familiar. They will help you step into the future without fear. And if this word is confirming what you've been sensing, then don't let it stay with just you. Like this message, if your spirit says, "This speaks to me," Share it with someone you know has also been sensing a divine shift. Subscribe to stay connected. This is not just inspiration. It's instruction for your next move. What God is preparing to do in your life is too sacred to keep private. You are not watching this by accident. You are being called forward, upward, and outward. The comfort zone is being closed for renovation, and in its place, expansion, elevation, and divine relocation. Get ready. You're about to live where your prayers were always meant to take you. Not just wealthy and money. Chosen one. It's time to clear the fog. What God is sending your way isn't just about financial blessing. Yes, this soulmate carries provision, but it goes so far beyond what they have in their bank account. Because true wealth isn't just counted in coins and assets. It's counted in wisdom, peace, stability, maturity, integrity, intercession, and divine character. God is not sending you someone who merely has money. He's sending someone who carries mantles. You've known people who were rich in material things but bankrupt in emotional depth. They could pay for your meal, but they couldn't pray over your soul. They could post you on social media, but they couldn't discern your spiritual battles. God is correcting that pattern now. This next connection is not performative, it's prophetic. The one coming will be wealthy in ways the world can't always measure. They will be rich in patience when you have a rough day, rich in discernment when the path looks unclear, rich in self-control when conflict arises, rich in joy when heaviness tries to creep in, rich in covering prayer when attacks come unannounced. This is wealth that doesn't fade. This is value that doesn't fluctuate with the stock market. This is stability that doesn't crack under pressure. This is the kind of wealth that the enemy can't steal. You've seen what happens when people choose partners based only on status or salary. It looks good at first, but eventually, storms come. And when they do, only what's built on the rock will stand. That's why God allowed the delays, not to deny you a relationship, but to refine your definition of wealth. You used to pray for someone successful. Now you pray for someone spirit-filled. You used to ask for comfort. Now you ask for covenant. You're not just looking for someone who can provide. You're waiting for someone who can protect the promise inside you. They are coming, and they are whole. Not perfect, but whole. They've been through the fire too. They've had to unlearn dysfunction. They've had to sit in silence when no one understood them. They've walked away from toxic cycles, even when it cost them everything. And because of that, they carry humility. They don't just know how to prosper, they know how to pray. You will find wealth in their words. You will feel covered in their presence. You will sense calm when your spirit connects with theirs. And the best part, they won't use their wealth to manipulate you. They won't make you feel small. They won't brag. Because what they carry comes from God, not ego. Their wealth will serve you, not silence you. They'll lift burdens, not add to them. They'll help bring order, not confusion. Because what they carry is not worldly, it's kingdom. It is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 22. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth, and he adds no sorrow with it. There will be no hidden sorrow attached to this connection. No strings, no secret expectations, no spiritual debt to repay. You won't have to perform. You won't have to pretend. You won't have to explain why you're passionate about your calling or why your faith is non-negotiable. They'll get it, because they've been walking their own narrow path too. And when they find you, they won't waste time trying to impress you. They'll seek to build with you. They will invest in your dreams, not diminish them. They will honor your boundaries, not break them. They will celebrate your strength, not feel threatened by it. And when you fall into silence, they'll cover you in prayer. Instead of asking, "What's wrong?" 1,000 times, they'll know, because their spirit will be tuned to yours. This is the kind of wealth that makes you rich in peace, rich in identity, rich in destiny. Some of you have never experienced that level of stability in a relationship before. You've been so used to chaos that peace almost feels unnatural. But get ready, because God is about to flip the script. You are entering a season where peace won't feel foreign, it will feel like home. And when this person arrives, your spirit will recognize it instantly. Not because of how loud they are, but because of how safe it feels. This is your confirmation. Wealth is coming to you, but it's multidimensional. It's relational, emotional, spiritual, and yes, even financial. But most of all, it's divinely assigned. Comment 444 if your spirit bears witness. 444 is a prophetic number of foundation, divine order, and heaven's alignment in your steps. By commenting, you're not just typing digits, you're coming into agreement with a supernatural shift that is already unfolding in your life. The doors are opening. The right person is arriving. And they're bringing a kind of wealth the world cannot measure. Covered like never before. Chosen one. Prepare your heart. Because what you are about to walk into is not only rare, it is righteous. You have been the covering for so many, haven't you? The intercessor, the encourager, the protector, the one others called when they were in crisis, the one who carried the weight of people's pain in silent prayer. Even when your own soul was aching, you were the one standing in the gap when no one stood for you. But now, God is reversing the flow. He is sending someone who will cover you, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, someone who will discern your battles before you speak, someone who will feel when your spirit is heavy and rush into prayer, not questions, someone who is led not by impulse, but by intercession. This is the divine counterpart your spirit has longed for, the kind who doesn't just say, "I love you," but declares, "I've got you." And because when God sends a covering, He sends protection, not pressure. You've been under pressure long enough. Pressure to be strong. Pressure to have the answers. Pressure to stay calm while your world was falling apart. But God is sending someone who will not add weight. They will lift it. Someone who can look you in the eye, see through your "I'm fine," and remind you, you're not alone anymore. They are not coming to fix you. They're coming to fight for you. They won't be intimidated by your depth. They won't be frightened by your calling. They won't fumble your vulnerability, because they've been broken too, and in that breaking, they found God. That's why they'll value you correctly. They won't just handle your heart, they'll steward it. Not because they have to, but because they were assigned to. You have cried out for this kind of covering, and heaven has heard. This person will be the kind of safe you've never experienced before. You won't feel like you're walking on eggshells. You won't fear that they'll disappear when the pressure comes, because they've weathered storms too, and because of that, they'll recognize the value of being someone's shelter, not just their source of affection. God is sending someone who understands that covering is not control. They won't manipulate you. They won't gaslight you. They won't spiritualize their own selfishness and call it leadership. No, they will lead through service, not superiority. They will pray for you without needing an audience. They will protect your name in rooms you've never entered. They will fast for your clarity when your vision gets blurry. That's what real covering looks like, and you are about to experience it. It is written in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. You are stepping into a relationship where when you fall, someone will be right there to lift you, not judge you. When you're tired, they will notice before you say a word. When you're unsure, they will speak wisdom without trying to take control. You will not have to beg for attention, beg for prayer, beg for partnership. Their presence will be a continuous yes to your soul. And in this covering, you will heal. Not because they rescue you, but because they create a space where your soul can finally rest. You will stop living in fight or flight mode. You will stop apologizing for needing support. You will stop editing your emotions so you don't scare someone away. This person will not see your strength and expect more. They will see your strength and offer rest. There's something holy about being covered. It brings confidence. It cultivates safety. It quiets the inner chaos that so many people overlook. And for once, you'll feel protected, not just physically, but spiritually. You'll know someone is praying for you. Even when you're too exhausted to pray for yourself, you'll know that no matter what happens, you have a partner who stands between you and the storm. And in that covering, you'll rise. You will speak bolder, dream bigger, move freer, because you're no longer carrying it all alone. You'll begin to glow differently, speak differently, even walk differently, because safety makes people shine. You'll flourish under the kind of love that doesn't compete or criticize but covers. A love that acts like God's shadow close. Steady and deeply protective. This is what you've waited for. And it was worth every lonely night, every silent prayer, every season of isolation, every relationship you had to walk away from. Because now, God is not just sending love, He is sending covering. And once you've experienced that, you'll never settle for anything less again. Your trauma won't scare them. Chosen one, let this truth settle deep into your soul. The right one will not be intimidated by your wounds. They will not run from your story. They will not shrink back when they see the depth of what you've endured. Because the one God is sending doesn't love the polished version of you. They are prepared to love the real you. Scars and all. You've been taught, either by pain or by people, that you're too much. Too emocional, too sensitive, too intense. You've been made to feel that your honesty is a burden, that your past disqualifies you, or that your journey somehow makes you less lovable. But that was never the truth. That was a lie planted by darkness to keep you hiding your heart. But no more hiding. The one God is sending has been through their own fire. They've wept silently, wrestled privately, healed slowly. They know what it's like to carry pain no one sees. They've learned not to judge people by appearances, but by spiritual weight. That's why, when they see your vulnerability, they won't flinch, they'll lean in. They'll recognize that your transparency isn't weakness, it's warrior strength. You didn't just survive. You kept your heart soft. when life gave you every reason to go numb. That alone sets you apart. The person God is assigning to you won't idolize your perfection. They'll honor your process. They'll listen without trying to fix. They'll love you through the flashbacks, the silent nights, the parts of your soul still in recovery. Because they're not coming to fix, they're coming to walk beside. They'll see the child in you that never got protected. They'll hear the silence in your words. They'll sense the moments when your strength is really survival. And instead of walking away, they'll stay. Not because they feel sorry for you, but because they've been equipped for you. God has made them tender enough to see you, strong enough to carry moments with you, and wise enough to not make your past your identity. They'll know when to give space and when to speak truth. They'll know how to wrap their arms around you without making you feel fragile. You'll never have to beg them to understand. They'll want to, and that will feel foreign at first. You've grown used to one-sided effort. You've had to explain yourself over and over. You've learned to shut down to avoid being misunderstood. But this is a different kind of connection. You'll find that you no longer have to overthink every sentence. You'll no longer feel like a puzzle someone is too impatient to figure out. You'll simply be, and that will be enough. It is written in the book of Psalm, chapter 147, verse 3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Oh, this next relationship is not your healer, God is. But this person will be a vessel through which God expresses his healing love, their patience, their presence, their peace will be instruments in God's hands to show you what healthy love can feel like. It won't be perfect, but it will be safe. They will not poke at your pain to control you. They will not use your vulnerability as ammunition in arguments. They will not mock what they don't understand. Instead, they will honor the fact that you are still here, still standing, still believing, still open, still loving, still willing to trust again, despite all the reasons you had not to. That is a miracle, and they will treat it like one. This is how you'll know it's from God. Because instead of feeling like you have to explain everything, you'll feel seen. Instead of performing, you'll find peace. Instead of pretending you're okay when you're not, you'll have someone who sits in the storm with you until the clouds clear. You've cried in secret long enough. Now, God is sending someone who won't just wipe your tears, but will understand where they came from. Someone who will remind you that your broken places are not curses, they're proof of your survival. Chosen one. You're not too broken. You're not too complex. You're not too far gone. You are ready. Ready to be loved in a way that doesn't trigger your defenses. Ready to be seen without fear. Ready to heal in the presence of someone who was built to love you, even in your unraveling. And when that kind of love enters your life, you'll realize you were never too much. You just needed someone who had the capacity to carry what God already crowned as worthy. God removed the wrong ones first. Chosen one. You've mourned relationships that were never meant to last. You've cried over doors that God himself shut. You've asked why they walked away, why they ghosted you, why things fell apart when all you did was love with pure intentions. But heaven wants you to hear this loud and clear. It wasn't rejection. It was redirection. The ones who left were never meant to carry the weight of your calling. God removed them to make space for what's holy. It hurt. Yes, you grieve it hard. But God never subtracts without preparing to multiply. And before he sends divine partnership, he clears out counterfeit attachments. You needed the loneliness to teach you discernment. You needed the heartbreak to expose what love is not. You needed the silence to develop ears that recognize the voice of God over the noise of opinions. Because now you're not impressed by charm. You're led by character. You're not chasing promises, you're watching for fruit. The wrong ones had to leave so you could stop questioning your worth. Because that's what they did. Didn't they? Made you feel like loving deeply was a weakness. Made you feel like your dreams were too much. Made you feel like being honest was a liability. But they were never equipped to carry your future. And keeping them longer would have delayed what heaven was trying to deliver. God's mercy removed what your emotions were willing to tolerate. And yes, mercy sometimes shows up as disconnection, because God knows the private conversations you never heard, the intentions you never discerned, the betrayals you were too loyal to see. He knows how long you would have stayed trying to fix someone who was never committed to growth. So, in His mercy, He stepped in. He disrupted what was toxic. And though you mistook it for abandonment, it was divine protection all along. The Word of God declares in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 2, He cuts off every branch that bears no fruit, and prunes the fruitful ones to be more fruitful. That's not punishment. That's pruning. God removed them so you could heal, so you could breathe, so you could stop shrinking. Because the ones coming now are not coming to criticize your fire, they're coming to fuel it. But they couldn't come while your hands were still clinging to the familiar. Some blessings require empty hands and a surrendered heart. And look at you now. You've grown wiser. You speak with more authority. You no longer ignore red flags just to avoid being alone. You trust your intuition again. You know now that peace is proof. You know that if it causes confusion, it's not covenant. You know that if it pulls you away from God, it's not a gift, it's a distraction. And that knowledge came through the loss. It came through the cleansing. God didn't just want to give you a good partner. He wanted to make sure you were healed enough to receive them. That's why He interrupted the cycles. That's why the friendships fell apart. That's why the situationships collapsed. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Because what's coming requires emotional clarity. It requires a whole heart. It requires boundaries you used to be afraid to set. It requires faith that says, I'd rather wait for what's holy than settle for what's available. And now, the waiting is almost over. The people who couldn't love you properly were never a reflection of your worth. They were just a reflection of their own capacity, and their exit was heaven's way of clearing the path. Now there's room. Now your hands are free. Now your heart is whole enough to receive what's real, what's God ordained, what's actually safe. So don't resent the ones who walked away. Bless them. Release them. Thank God for the closed doors. Because if they had stayed, you'd still be doubting yourself. You'd still be performing for acceptance. You'd still be praying for clarity in a room full of confusion. Instead, you are standing at the threshold of something holy. Someone heaven prepared is on the way. And they're not confused about you. They're not threatened by your anointing. They're not guessing about your value. They'll see you, choose you, and walk with you, and it won't feel like chaos. It will feel like coming home. Comment, thank you, Lord. And let it be more than a phrase. Let it be your release. Because gratitude accelerates alignment. And gratitude for what God removed creates space for what He's about to restore. The wrong ones are gone. The right one is near, and this time you'll recognize the difference, not by how loud they come, but by how safe you feel when they stay. This connection is heaven covenant, chosen one. What's about to happen in your life isn't ordinary. This is not a relationship built on convenience. It's not rooted in compatibility alone. This is covenant born in heaven, aligned by time, and sealed by purpose. God is not sending you someone just to hold your hand. He is sending you someone to help you hold your assignment. The world is full of connections that look good on the outside, but are empty on the inside. Beautiful pictures, well-edited captions, flashy dates, but no substance. No spiritual foundation, no divine agreement. And that's not what you were created for. You were created for kingdom partnership. This connection is coming with intentionality. It will not be rushed. It will not be reckless. It will not play games. It will come with clarity, with calm, with confirmation. You won't be stuck in confusion or anxiety, trying to decode mixed signals. Because when God sends someone, He sends peace with them. This is the kind of connection that makes sense in your spirit before it makes sense in your schedule. It won't follow the usual script. It will interrupt you. It will stop your patterns. It will break your timelines. Because it's not just about love, it's about destiny. You are not just meeting a person, you are meeting a piece of your purpose. They won't be drawn to your image. They will be drawn to your oil. They will recognize your anointing. They will honor your calling. And they will not just fit into your life, they will build with you. Not only in prayer and conversation, but in action and vision. This is the kind of connection that advances the kingdom of God. You may have imagined love as soft, comforting, or sweet. Yes, it will be all those things. But this time, it will also be strategic. You'll sit across from them and find your ideas growing. You'll share your heart, and they'll hand you a plan. You'll talk about God, and they'll start interceding with you on the spot. This is what happens when two kingdom vessels collide. There will be purpose in your partnership, ministry in your marriage, calling in your connection. God is not sending a person to complete you. He is sending someone who complements the mission. You've built the altar. They're bringing the fire. We find in the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 19, if two of you agree here on earth concerning anything you ask, my Father in heaven will do it for you. That's the power of divine covenant. Agreement unlocks acceleration. Where two or more are gathered, where two agree, heaven responds. This connection will not drain you. It will not distract you. It will activate you. And you'll realize why everything else had to fall apart. You'll look back and understand why it didn't work with anyone else. Why those relationships felt confusing. Why your spirit was restless. Why it always felt like something was missing. It's because covenant was missing. God was preparing you for something that could carry the weight of who you really are. The prophetic, the powerful, the purpose-driven version of you. This is why the counterfeits had to be exposed, why the wait had to be prolonged, why the healing had to go deep. Because you weren't just waiting for love, you were being aligned for impact. This person will come with their own walk with God. You won't have to drag them into the secret place. They've already been there. You won't have to convince them to value purity, honor, or faith. They already do. You won't need to beg them to see your worth. Their spirit will recognize it before their words can express it. This is heaven's pairing. This is covenant over convenience. This is sacred. And because it is sacred, it will be protected. God will cover this relationship. He will go before you and behind you. He will silence the mouths of those who try to speak against it. He will confirm it through dreams, scripture, and peace that cannot be shaken. So let your heart prepare. Let your soul stretch. Let your faith rise. Because the covenant is coming. The kind that reminds you how intentional God truly is. The kind that makes you feel like you've stepped into a prophecy you didn't even realize you were part of. The kind that sets the tone for generations after you. Like this message, if your heart is stirring right now, share it with someone you know is waiting on this same kind of holy confirmation. Subscribe to stay connected. This isn't a viral message. It's a prophetic moment. And if this spoke to your spirit, don't let it pass you by. What God is joining together isn't just a relationship, it's a covenant that will shake the gates of hell. You were never meant to settle for less than this. This is not a situationship. This is not a fling. This is not something you fall into by accident and fall out of when things get uncomfortable. This is a kingdom partnership, established in the mind of God. Before time began, and when it arrives, you will know it is covenant, not convenience. Chosen one. For too long you've entertained connections that were seasonal, while your spirit was prepared for something eternal. You've tolerated confusion, inconsistency, and emotional immaturity, hoping that somehow it would shift into commitment. But God has not called you to chase peace. He's called you to walk in it. That's why this next connection won't come with games, gray areas, or guilt trips. It will come with clarity. The person God is sending won't leave you guessing. They won't need space one day and act obsessed the next. They won't pull you close with words and push you away with actions. Because when it's from God, there is consistency. Their intentions will be clear. Their pursuit will be respectful. Their presence will be stable. You've already survived enough emotional turbulence. This is your time to walk in peace. This connection won't stir up old wounds. It will affirm your healing. It won't trigger survival mode. It will cultivate safety. You'll finally stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because nothing in their spirit will make you feel replaceable. And that's how you'll know their love won't perform. It will protect. You've done the inner work. You've prayed. You've fasted. You've grown. You've learned how to sit in silence, how to face yourself, how to let God detox your soul. You no longer need someone to complete you. You are whole. And this next person, they are whole too. And two whole people in divine alignment don't create codependency, they create impact. It is written in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 12, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. And this connection is not built on human effort alone. It includes the presence of God at its center. That 3rd strand, the Holy Spirit, will weave you together with strength no storm can unravel. That's why it will last. Not because you're flawless, but because you're both faithful. Faithful to pray, faithful to forgive, faithful to grow, faithful to honor. In this partnership, accountability won't feel like attack, it will feel like protection. Communication won't feel like confrontation, it will feel like covering. Growth won't feel like pressure, it will feel like purpose. And purpose is key. Because this connection will not exist just to make you feel good. It will exist to move things in the spirit realm. It will carry a weight, a calling, a divine assignment. And you will know you were brought together not only for love, but for legacy. Together, you will destroy strongholds. Together, you will pray heaven down. Together, you will raise up a standard for future generations. Together, your love will be a message one the enemy cannot mute. That's why the enemy fought so hard to wear you out before this moment. He wanted you bitter, not open, distracted, not discerning, disappointed, not ready. He wanted you stuck in cycles with people who looked good on paper but weren't sent by heaven. But you broke the cycle. You walked away when it hurt. You chose obedience over attachment. And because of that, you are prepared for covenant. This person won't pull you out of God's presence. They'll pull you deeper into it. You'll notice the difference instantly. With them, prayer won't be awkward. It'll be normal. Worship won't be weird. It'll be welcomed. Conversations will be rich, honest, and spirit-led. You'll feel both peace and passion, deep attraction and deeper respect. And everything in your soul will exhale and say, "This is what I've been waiting for." End quote. This is why you had to wait. This is why others had to walk away. This is why God said no when your heart said yes. Because He was protecting you from what looked good but wasn't built to last. And now, He is releasing what was worth the wait. You didn't miss it. You didn't fall behind. You're not being punished. You've been positioned, and now the covenant is coming. Not because you chased it, but because you were aligned for it. This isn't temporary. This isn't conditional. This isn't based on performance or popularity. This is based on purpose, and purpose doesn't expire. What's being prepared for you is not fragile. It's fortified in the spirit. It's not built on shifting sand. It's anchored in Christ. And when it comes, your heart will recognize it, not because it's perfect, but because it's ordained. This is the covenant you've been prepared for, and it will feel nothing like what came before. Don't self-sabotage what you prayed for. Chosen one, the very thing you've been fasting for, crying for, asking God for, is finally approaching. The doors are opening. The divine connection is being aligned. But now comes the real test. Can you receive it without running from it? Can you hold in your hands what your heart once begged heaven to send? Sometimes, the greatest challenge is not waiting, it's receiving. Because when you've spent years surviving, fighting, and defending yourself, it's hard to believe that something holy could come without strings. It feels unnatural. You keep waiting for the catch. You search for flaws. You look at pure intentions and assume they're too good to be true. But God is not sending confusion. He is sending clarity. And clarity doesn't come to deceive you. It comes to deliver you. Don't sabotage what's sacred because you're still using the lens of past pain. The counterfeit taught you to distrust goodness. The betrayal taught you to be guarded. But this connection isn't like before. This one isn't coming to manipulate you. It's coming to minister to you. You won't need to read between the lines, because their life will speak the language of consistency. You won't have to beg for reassurance, because their presence will anchor your spirit. But if you're not careful, unhealed fear will start labeling covenant as danger. Fear will tell you it's moving too fast, when it's actually moving at the pace of obedience. Fear will say it's too calm, because you're used to equating chaos with passion. Fear will whisper, "You're not ready," when God is already opening the door. This is why discernment matters, because sometimes fear wears the mask of wisdom, and sometimes delay is really disobedience in disguise. You've been asking God to send someone who can love you, honor you, pray with you, and build with you. But are you truly prepared to receive it without pushing it away? It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? This new thing God is doing in your life requires a new posture. No more rehearsing old pain. No more comparing them to those who broke you. No more guarding yourself so tightly that even blessings can't get in. God is sending someone who won't just accept your calling, they will amplify it. They'll speak to the healed version of you, not the hurting one. They'll see the oil, not just the wounds. But if you're still wearing the armor you built in the wilderness, you might reject what was meant to restore you. Chosen one. Don't miss the move, because you're still grieving the past. This person isn't here to compete with your independence. They're here to create covenant. They won't make you feel smaller to feel important. They'll meet you in the middle. They'll come healed, not perfect, but whole. And their stability will feel strange if all you've known is inconsistency. But don't let strange become suspicious. Don't let healthy feel like unreal. Because that's how self-sabotage starts. You pull away before the foundation is built. You overthink every word, every text, every moment. You analyze them instead of receiving them. You brace for impact instead of leaning into peace. But this time is different. This connection was prayed for, fasted for, prepared by God Himself. And your only job now is to walk through the door when it opens. Will it require trust? Yes. Will it stretch your heart? Absolutely. Will it challenge your comfort zone? Without a doubt. But it will also restore your hope. It will teach you what safe love feels like. It will walk with you into purpose, not away from it. And when your old habits start whispering, protect yourself. You'll hear a louder voice from the Spirit saying, receive. This is the one. So breathe. Loosen your grip. Don't panic. Don't flee. Not everyone is here to hurt you. Not everyone wants to take from you. Not everyone is after your oil without understanding its cost. This one was assigned. This one was refined. This one was sent. And they will hold your heart like something holy, because it is. Comment 888 if you're done running. 888 is a prophetic number representing new beginnings and divine completion. By typing it, you're saying, God, I won't self-sabotage anymore. I choose to receive what you're sending. End of crease. What you prayed for is here. And this time, you're ready to receive it, not fear it. You're not who you used to be. And this connection, it will prove it. You'll know them by the peace. Chosen one. The world has conditioned you to look for sparks, butterflies, adrenaline, the high of emotional chaos dressed up as passion. But what God is doing in this next chapter of your life is not about emotional roller coasters. It's about rest for your soul. It's about alignment that doesn't leave you anxious. It's about peace that confirms presence. The one God is sending will not stir your insecurities. They will not confuse you. They will not disappear for days, only to return with excuses. They will not punish you with silence or manipulate you with affection, because the person heaven assigns will carry the fragrance of peace. You'll know them not just by how much they say they love you, but by how safe you feel when they speak. Their consistency will quiet your doubts. Their presence will calm your thoughts. They won't need to convince you with big words, because their fruit will speak louder than their promises. And peace, chosen one, is the fruit of God's presence. It is written in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 7, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." And of this connection won't make sense to everyone around you. It may not check every box you once thought was necessary, but your spirit will know, because peace doesn't shout, peace doesn't push, peace guards. And when they arrive, you will feel a shield go up, not one you built to protect yourself, but one heaven assigned to cover you. The old version of you looked for validation in passion. The new version of you looks for alignment in peace. You'll notice that you're no longer addicted to chaos. You no longer tolerate mixed signals. You no longer chase after those who drain you. Instead, you are drawn to stillness, to presence, to purpose. And that's exactly what this person will carry. They will walk into your life, and suddenly, you'll realize you're not overthinking anymore. You're not planning escape routes in case they change. You're not exhausted after every conversation, because this time, it feels natural. It feels holy. It feels like coming home. Peace will become your compass, and with that peace will come permission. Permission to rest, to trust, to breathe, to unfold. You won't have to explain why you need boundaries. You won't have to defend your values. You won't have to prove your worth, because they'll already see it. They'll already know. This is what happens when love is sent, not self-made. When it's birthed from the secret place, not stitched together from desperation. When it's rooted in prayer, not in performance. You'll notice the little things first. How they listen, how they remember, how they show up, how they handle correction, how they respond when you're quiet, how they protect your peace instead of disturbing it. These won't be grand gestures, but they'll be deeply prophetic, because peace isn't flashy, but it is foundational. You're not being led by chemistry alone anymore. You've outgrown that. What you're looking for now is confirmation, and it will come not through chaos, but through calm, not through noise, but through discernment, not through fantasy, but through fruit. And no, it won't be perfect. There will still be moments of tension, of growth, of refining. But even in disagreement, you will not feel dishonored. Even in correction, you will not feel attacked. Even in vulnerability, you will not feel unsafe. Because real peace doesn't vanish when conflict arises, it anchors deeper. You'll know you've met the right one, not by the absence of challenges, but by the presence of peace through every challenge. And when they show up, you will realize that peace is not passive. It's powerful. It's prophetic. It speaks louder than words. It reassures your soul. It reintroduces you to parts of yourself that were silenced in past relationships. It reminds you that God still writes holy love stories. This is how heaven moves. Quietly, strategically, faithfully, without forcing, without rushing, without manipulation. And in this connection, you will feel the presence of God, not just when you pray together, but in how you live together, in how you speak, in how you listen, in how you resolve, in how you dream, in how you grow. This is what peace looks like when it takes on human form. Don't overlook it because it doesn't feel dramatic. Don't dismiss it because it doesn't resemble your past. This time, you'll know them not by the chaos they bring, but by the peace they protect. And that peace will be all the confirmation you need. They'll accelerate your calling. Chosen one. What God is doing in this next chapter is not just about connection, it's about activation. The person He is sending into your life is not just coming to love you, they are coming to unlock you, to stir dormant gifts, to challenge complacency, to call out greatness. This is not comfort without purpose. This is alignment that pushes you forward. You've carried the weight of your assignment in silence. You've built with your own hands, cried in hidden places, and stayed faithful when no one clapped. And because of your obedience, God is sending someone who won't compete with your calling. They'll fuel it. You've been surrounded by people who liked the idea of you, but not the reality of your anointing. They celebrated your light when it benefited them, but pulled away when it demanded spiritual maturity. You felt the sting of being too much for some and not enough for others. You've watched people support you with words, but walk away when your purpose started to require weight. But this person will be different. They won't shrink back when they see the fire on your life. They won't be intimidated by your vision. They won't feel threatened by your strength, because they've been called too. They know the cost. They've paid their own price. They carry revelation, not just religion, and they'll recognize the oil you carry because they've been anointed to walk beside it, not to extinguish it. You'll notice something different when they speak into your life. Their words won't flatter, they'll ignite. They'll speak to your future, not just your feelings. They'll push you out of fear and into obedience. They'll encourage you when you're ready to give up and correct you when you drift. Not to control you, but to sharpen you. It is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And this sharpening won't come in the form of arguments, it will come in the form of alignment. They'll ask you, did you pray about that? They'll challenge you. Is this decision God-led or comfort-driven? They'll remind you. Don't hide when you're called to lead. And you'll realize, this is what you've always needed. Not just someone to love your softness, but someone strong enough to love your calling. You've been preparing for this. God didn't just prune you emotionally, He pruned you spiritually. He taught you how to stand alone so that you'd never become dependent on applause. He taught you how to listen in the secret place so that when someone speaks from the Spirit, you'll recognize it. And now, He is sending someone who has also learned these lessons in the fire. You won't be building them from the ground up. They'll come with a foundation, not perfection, but spiritual depth. Not religious routines, but relational intimacy with God. And because of that, your life together will accelerate. Not because you're rushing, but because you're no longer carrying dead weight. This is how kingdom moves work. They move fast when alignment is present. You'll see vision unfold at a pace you never experienced before. Not because you're striving, but because there's no more spiritual resistance. It's hard to build when you're constantly battling internal warfare from someone who doesn't understand your calling. But when both of you are aligned under the same spirit, progress becomes prophetic. Together, you'll write books, build businesses, birth ministries, launch movements, speak truth, break generational cycles, heal families, and not just for you, but for others. Because kingdom relationships don't just benefit the couple, they bless the community. This person is not coming to distract you from purpose. They are coming to magnify it. And through them, you'll discover parts of yourself that had been waiting to wake up. You'll hear yourself speak with boldness you forgot you had. You'll dream at levels you once felt too scared to imagine. You'll lead with a confidence that can only come from knowing someone has your back in prayer and in purpose. This is not just a personal relationship, it's a prophetic partnership. Your calling is too important to be entangled in dead places. Your purpose is too sacred to be shared with someone who doesn't carry their own. That's why the wait has been long. That's why the cost felt so high. That's why you had to outgrow old rooms and outdated expectations. Because God wasn't just preparing a partner, He was preparing a co-laborer. Someone who knows what spiritual warfare feels like. Someone who fasts when they're confused. Someone who worships through pain. Someone who is not shaken by storms because they've weathered their own. And now, two fires will become one. Two visions will align. Two callings will intertwine. Not in competition, but in covenant. And when you step into that alignment, everything accelerates. Because purpose flows faster when it's covered by partnership. This is a prophetic relationship. Chosen one. Hear this clearly. The next person God sends into your life isn't coming just to date you, post you, or walk hand in hand through shallow love. This is different. This is prophetic. This connection is not for performance, it's for purpose. It's not for Instagram likes, it's for heaven's assignment. You've cried out for something real. You've asked God to redeem the time. You've begged for clarity, for confirmation, for someone who understands not just your personality, but your prophetic weight. And now, heaven is responding. God is sending a relationship that doesn't just make sense, it makes destiny move. This is why the enemy fought so hard to destroy your faith in love. Why he planted fakes in your life who only came to drain you. Why he tempted you to lower your standards. He wanted you so wounded, so jaded, that by the time the real thing came, you'd push it away. But the fact that you're still here, still believing, still open, that's proof you're ready. And now it's here. Not just a relationship, not just a connection, not just affection, but a prophetic partnership where vision meets vision, oil meets oil, assignment meets alignment. This person won't just pray with you when it's convenient. They'll war with you when the spirit gets heavy. They'll stand with you when attacks come. They'll fast with you when confusion tries to settle. They won't say, "I love you," in words alone. They'll speak it in intercession, obedience, and spiritual maturity. You'll feel it. You'll know. Because the presence of God will be woven through every conversation, every confirmation, every divine moment. This is not romance alone, it's revelation. Their spirit will bear witness with yours. You won't just be attracted to their presence, you'll be connected to their purpose. It was proclaimed in the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3. Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? That's the power of prophetic alignment. Agreement, not just emotional, but spiritual. This is more than chemistry, more than shared hobbies, more than late-night conversations. This is a walk, a divine path, a joint journey where the Spirit leads and both follow. Chosen one. God is not sending you someone to fix. You've done enough spiritual parenting in the past. This time, they come ready. Ready to listen. Ready to lead. Ready to love without conditions. Ready to war with you in the Spirit. Not compete with you in the flesh. Their discernment will sharpen yours. Their presence will stir your boldness. Their discipline will call yours higher. And you won't have to beg them to understand the weight you carry. They'll see it. They'll know when you need prayer. They'll know when you need rest. They'll know when your spirit is heavy. Even when your face says you're fine. And instead of making it about them, they'll cover you silently, humbly, powerfully. You'll finally be free to be all of you, not edited, not reduced, not filtered. You won't feel like you have to explain why you weep when you worship. You won't feel like you have to apologize for hearing from God. You won't feel like you're too deep, too intense, too spiritual, because you'll be equally yoked, not just in love, but in assignment. This is why the wait was necessary. This is why the pruning had to happen. This is why God stripped you from old cycles, wrong circles, and unhealthy attachments. Because He was preparing your foundation for something that could carry fire. Prophetic relationships don't entertain demons, they expose them. They don't tolerate lukewarmness, they stir revival. They don't play church, they are the church. And the two of you together will not just make a home, you'll make a headquarters for heaven. And yes, it will still feel like love. You'll laugh deeply. You'll rest safely. You'll dream together. Eat together. Worship side by side. But beneath it all, there will be fire. There will be movement. There will be power. Because prophetic love doesn't just feel good, it does good. It heals. It delivers. It speaks. It builds altars in the earth. This is that kind of love. So, if your spirit is stirred, don't let this word stop with you. Like this message, to come into agreement. Share it with someone you know is waiting for this level of confirmation. Comment below, I choose my crown. When? Because choosing covenant means choosing alignment. Choosing prophetic love means rejecting anything less than heaven's best. And subscribe, so you never miss another word that's tailor-made for your season. This isn't hype. This isn't hope without substance. This is prophetic reality, and it's closer than you think. You are not being overlooked. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. And soon, you'll look across the room, see them standing there, and know deep in your spirit, this is who I fasted for. This is who I waited for. This is who heaven wrote into my scroll before I was born. You are God's chosen one. And this is a chosen love. Power follows divine alignment. Chosen one. There is a shift that happens when you step into what and who God has assigned. It's like the wind changes. The resistance breaks. What used to take you years begins to manifest in months. Doors that were once sealed suddenly swing open without knocking. Why? Because favor is the fragrance of obedience. And alignment activates favor like nothing else can. You've lived long enough trying to make things work in your own strength. You've pushed, forced, convinced, adjusted, negotiated, and still found yourself stuck. But God is bringing you into a place where you no longer have to chase what He's already aligned. This relationship He's sending isn't just going to change your emotions, it's going to change your environment. Because when two anointed people come into agreement under heaven's timing, everything around them shifts. Strategies are revealed. Provision acceleratis. Divine ideas unlock. It's not just about falling in love. It's about rising in purpose. The one who is coming isn't just coming with words, they're coming with keys. Keys to rooms you couldn't enter alone. Keys to places your soul has been prepared to walk in, but your flesh was too weary to pursue. They will speak life over things in you that others ignored. They will invest in the vision that others thought was too big, and not because they're impressed, but because they're assigned. This is divine alignment. It's what happens when God's timing, your obedience, and heaven's blueprint intersect. And in that intersection, favor flows freely. There's no striving, no anxiety, no manipulation, just movement, supernatural, steady, spirit-led movement. You won't have to promote yourself. You won't have to defend your readiness. You won't have to beg for support. The person God sends will already be prepared to partner. Alignment brings acceleration. Things will come together quickly, not because you're rushing, but because there's no longer spiritual resistance holding you back. Delays are often caused by the wrong voices, the wrong attachments, and the wrong timing. But when God connects you with the right person, at the right time, in the right way, doors that once mocked you will begin to open on their own. This is not about a relationship solving everything. This is about alignment unlocking everything. Your next level requires more than just effort. It requires agreement. Not just horizontal agreement with a person, but vertical agreement with heaven. And when you come into agreement with the one God sends, it won't just bless you, it will bless everything connected to you. Your family, your calling, your legacy, your finances, your focus, your fire. It is written in the book of Psalm, chapter 5, verse 12. Surely, Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor, as with a shield. Favor is not random. Favor is not luck. Favor is the evidence of alignment. And when you are with the one God has assigned, that favor becomes generational. It builds, it spreads, it transforms everything. Together, you'll find that your ideas stretch further. Your resources multiply. Your clarity increases. Your battles become easier to win, not because the war goes away, but because now you have a partner who wars with you, and not just in conversation, in the spirit. They will pray with you before decisions. They will cover you before meetings. They will intercede when your strength is low. They will protect your oil like it's their own. And that kind of agreement, that kind of covenant, it releases uncommon favor. You'll wonder why you waited so long to get here. You'll look back and realize how every detour was really divine redirection. You'll see how the heartbreaks cleared the space, how the delays forged deeper discernment, how the silence taught you how to hear God's voice over everyone else's. Because now you don't need to be impressed by charisma, you look for consistency. You don't chase fireworks, you follow fruit. You don't just crave romance, you seek reverence. And what's coming will check all the boxes, not because it's perfect, but because it's placed by God. The favor won't just fall on the relationship, it will fall on what you build together. You'll find your hands blessed in business, in ministry, in parenting, in healing, in leadership, in every room God sends you. Because this kind of relationship isn't a pause in your purpose, it's a push toward it. Favor follows alignment. And alignment begins with surrender. So trust that what God is sending isn't random. It's rooted in His plan. It will fit in a way that brings peace, power, and progress. You'll feel yourself growing, not shrinking, building, not breaking, becoming, not begging. Because when God aligns it, it will not feel like striving. It will feel like glory. You're about to be reintroduced in glory. Chosen one. Everything you've been through, every hidden battle, every silent tear, every door that closed in your face was not the end of your story. It was the preparation for your reintroduction. Heaven never forgot you. And now, God is about to present you in a way that no one saw coming, not even you. There were seasons where you felt invisible. You gave, served, loved, endured without recognition, without applause. You stayed faithful when it felt like no one was watching. You held on when it would have been easier to let go. You sacrificed comfort for calling, and because of that, you're being elevated in the spirit. But this elevation isn't for vanity, it's for victory. God is not raising you up to show off your glow up. He's raising you to display His glory. This next chapter isn't just a redemption arc, it's a prophetic unveiling. You are stepping into rooms you once only dreamed of. Not to blend in, not to compete, but to stand in the fullness of what God placed inside you. This is your Esther moment, your Joseph season, the unveiling after the crushing. You were misunderstood before because people only saw your process. They didn't understand the pressure on your life. They didn't discern the weight of your assignment. They saw delay and thought it meant denial. They saw isolation and mistook it for rejection. But now, the same people who misjudged you are about to witness what God has preserved in secret, because you were never being punished. You were being hidden. God hid you like a seed in the soil, covered, buried, watered in the dark. And now, it's time to rise. Not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. The reintroduction won't be loud. It won't be forced. It won't require you to explain yourself. You'll simply become, and those who have eyes to see will recognize the shift. It is written in the book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. This is your due time. Your hidden years have not been wasted. The private stretching, the inner healing, the quiet prayers in the middle of long nights, all of it was preparation for this unveiling. And the person God is sending will not only see the glory on you, they'll help carry it. Together, you will reflect heaven, not through performance, but through presence. This is why God didn't let you settle, why He let people walk away, why He let certain doors stay shut. Because He wasn't going to let you be revealed prematurely. This person won't try to dim your light, they'll help magnify it. They'll love you publicly and protect you privately. They'll pray for you when you're seen and cover you when you're vulnerable. And when the world begins to see what you carry, they'll celebrate, not compete, because they won't be shocked by your glow. They'll already know the oil it took to get there. This season won't look like the last. You won't move from trauma, you'll move from truth. You won't seek validation, you'll walk in victory. You won't explain yourself to people who never tried to understand you. You'll keep your eyes fixed on the one who called you. God is about to announce you, in spirit, in truth, in timing, and you won't have to strive for it. The doors will open by the wind of His will. The connections will come by the movement of his hand, and your name will be mentioned in places where only heaven could have planted it. So, stand tall, not in pride, but in purpose. You are not who you were last year. You're not who you were even last month. You've grown. You've changed. You've surrendered. You've obeyed. And now, heaven responds. You're not being introduced as a victim. You're being reintroduced as a vessel, a carrier of glory, a reflection of grace, a warrior dressed in wisdom and clothed in light. They thought you were finished. God says, now, watch what I do with their life. 1. You are stepping into divine fulfillment, divine partnerships, divine recognition, not to exalt your name but to exalt His. The story is shifting. The season is changing. The doors are opening. And the world is about to see what heaven already knew. You were chosen for such a time as this. Chosen one. Take a breath. Let this word settle into your spirit. You haven't just listened to a message, you've received a prophetic blueprint. What you've been waiting for. What you've been preparing for. What your soul has been stretched for. It's all unfolding now. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are not disqualified. You are aligned. Everything you've endured, every delay you didn't understand, every moment you thought God was silent, it was all pointing to this moment of manifestation. You are stepping into relationships that are covered, connections that are prophetic, and favor that follows alignment. So don't walk into this next season timid. Walk in full of faith. God is not teasing you with promises. He is trusting you with them. This is not a time to shrink. This is a time to rise. And if this message confirmed what your spirit already sensed, don't let it stop here. Like this word, if it stirred something inside of you, share it with someone who's been asking God for confirmation. Comment below, I receive this. Let heaven see your agreement in the earth. Subscribe, so you never miss the next divine release spoken straight to your season. We don't chase hype. We don't follow trends. We listen to the voice of God and respond with faith. You've come too far to turn back now. You're on the edge of something holy. And it's not just coming for you, it's coming through you. Chosen one. Your time is now. Your person is coming. Your promise is unfolding. And your glory is being revealed.